Hello everybody, it's Mike here for DenziNow, and this is it. The end of Kamen Rider Build. I'm a little sad. It's been an interesting ride through the last 49 episodes. Today we're looking at the final 5. So that's going to be 45, The Scientist of Hope, 46, An Oath to be the One, 47, 0 Degree Flames, 48, To the World of Love and Peace, and 49, The Tomorrow Build Will Create. Now, I know on these episodes, typically I go through a good chunk of the episode synopses and whatnot and so on, and I'm going to try not to do that here for a couple of reasons. One, this is going to be sort of a wrap-up of the entire show, so I don't necessarily want to focus on just giving the who, what, where, when, how, and why, and all that for the final 5 episodes. And I sort of want to give a broad level overview. So we're not going to focus so much on just the last 5 episodes. We're going to talk about them, but I'm not going to try not to go too much in depth into each and every synopsis and whatnot. If you want that, go on Wikipedia, or better yet, watch them. Watch this series, because up to this point, I don't know if I think it's the best Heisei Rider series to date now, but it's up there. It's very much up there on the list. So let's just kind of talk about sort of the things I like, things I don't like out of these 5 episodes particularly, and then let's go into the series as a whole. First things first, I'm just going to get this out of the way. To me, and I may be very much in the minority when I say this, to me, these are the worst 5 episodes of the series as a whole. It's the worst 5 episode block. And granted, I mean, saying that, they're not bad episodes. They're really good episodes. Saying these are the worst 5 is like calling someone the ugliest woman in the Miss Universe pageant. But this series, over the course of the previous 44 episodes, has set a bar for itself that was so high that the finale just didn't quite get there for me. So, getting into some specifics, things I really liked. I love that every character's story was wrapped up with a neat little bow. We get to see Greece come to terms, finally, with the death of his friends, the 3 crows, and with his infatuation / unrequited love with Misora, with Mitan. We finally see that come to a close. We finally see Rogue, Gintoku, come to terms with his father's last words and finally understand the lessons that his father tried to teach him of what it means to be a leader, what it means to build a nation, what it means to unite a people. That it's not just being the strongest, it's not about power, it's not about control. It's about serving the people and putting them ahead of yourself. We see that. We see the growth in Banjo by the end of this series in Kamen Rider Cross Z, to where he does not think twice about sacrificing himself for the greater good and for everyone else. And we've seen a lot of that over the course, but by the end of this, we really see him knowing what it would take to be the big damn hero and willing to go forward with it. And then, of course, with Sento himself, who finally comes to terms with his family, with his father, with everything we've seen around that in the last few episodes, with his own past as the demon scientist. We see all of that come to fruition. We even get wrap-ups for Mad Rogue, for Utsumi, and we get wrap-ups for Misora and for everybody, for the most part. There's 1 or 2. So I love that they did that. I love that Evolt truly wound up being the final big bad. It looked there for a second, as we came out of episode 44, as though they were going to pull a last minute bait and switch, which has been done in Kamen Rider before. Like they were going to do that last second bait and switch and make Sento's father the central villain. But no, he too was out to stop Evolt. It's just that this was the means that he thought was best to do it, just as all of our heroes have been doing that. And that's something that Sento himself has been very guilty of throughout the series of, I'm right, this is the way we need to do this, so on and so forth, to the exclusion of his friends and colleagues. And his father does the same thing to him. So we see that, and I think that really plays into Sento in the end. And Evolt was such a cool bad guy with the arrogance and whatnot. I really enjoyed that. And he stayed that way all the way to the end. Visually, the last 5 episodes are amazing. They are visually on par with anything that the previous 44 episodes have given us. In fact, there is a scene, I believe it's in episode 45, where I'm pretty certain that they put everybody in a fireball, like a real fireball. Because there is a scene with Evolt as all 4 riders go to deliver rider kicks to him simultaneously, and he unleashes basically this pulse of fire, and each rider, a fireball engulfs them, and we see each of them rider kicking through these fireballs from all 4 directions. And I watched it back about 2 or 3 times, and if it's CG, it's outstanding CG. But I promise you, it looked like a practical effect, and I'm almost 90% certain that it was a practical effect of what was happening there. Just tremendous work. So love that. I love the sound design and the music in general. It's the same music we've heard throughout the series, but they place them in well, and it doesn't bounce you out, so that's cool. The action is by and large pretty good. The action suits the mood of any given moment, because there are a lot of life and death, and emphasis more on death than life, and a couple struggles that occur throughout these episodes. And so we get fights that are meant to lead to that, and they look suitably brutal when they need to. Things I didn't care for, and frankly the list is probably longer. First and foremost, I would say the things I didn't care for. These 5 episodes have some plot holes you could drive a truck through. Evolt effectively gets devolved into being Galactus. The charisma and the persona and the attitude is all still there, and so the trappings that make Evolt an entertaining character are there. But the things that would elevate him from simply being an entertaining character to being a really cool character dissipate greatly. In that his motivation is simply to consume and to amass power. So he is turned into a stock comic book villain at that point. I really didn't like that. I thought that there could have been some greater purpose out of Evolt, that he could have had some greater characterization. He starts that way, to be sure, but he has spent the last 10 years on Earth, which becomes part of the story at a point. He has spent the last 10 years on Earth. He has gained an affinity for humanity. So I really wish there had been something more to him, where he had grown in some way beyond simply knowing what emotion is. His plan is to destroy and consume the world. The plan that our heroes have is to create a world by merging their Earth with a parallel Earth. They introduce the multiverse alternate reality concept at the very end here. But their plan is to basically merge two worlds together to create a world that Evolt never existed in. Since Evolt can't really be destroyed, he can be contained. If we create a world where he never existed in, so in essence, what we're getting out of this is that Evolt's plan is to destroy and consume one world, but the hero's plan is to destroy two worlds in order to create one. Think about that for a second. It's strange. It's a weird plan if you try to put thought into it. People on that other world didn't get a say-so. They didn't get a choice. They just suddenly started being drugged through a wormhole into a collision course with another world and hope somehow that it all works out in the end. It was bizarre to me. It creates a lot of tension. They do a really good job of risk-reward concept in the episode, but it ultimately, to me, kind of fell down a little bit. There was a part of me that goes, this could not have been the best idea that came out of the writer's room that day. So it's something about it just does not set well with me as a finale. Now, granted, I've said 1,000 times, and you'll hear me say it 1,000 times more if you watch our channel enough. When it comes to tokusatsu, don't look too close. You'll see the zippers. But this is one of those moments where, to me, they were showing off the zippers to you. Like, look, see, it zips up and down. It just didn't work for me, that particular plot point idea. The action was good. It was very good, but wasn't anything new. They were willing to spend some money on the last few episodes. Grease gets a brand new form in the final 3 or 4 episodes. So they basically repainted. But they have a new Grease costume for the end of the series. At least I'm going to put it like this. At least I'm assuming it's a new costume. I suppose they could have color altered it in post. It could just be the regular Grease costume and they did some color alterations in post. But either they repainted the original costume or they created a new one just for the last 4 episodes and never going to use it again. Regardless, hey, cool on you for it. But the final fight, especially between Evolt and Build, which takes place in more or less in this spatial rift. There have been other fights in the series that were much better. And so the action didn't outdo anything in this. That to me is the basic failing of the entire thing, the entire finale. It was really good and it was on par with other things in the series, but it wasn't better. And that is something that you come to expect out of Kamen Rider, and that is that the finale is going to be balls to the wall. When we hit the roller coaster, we're in for a ride, and the finale did not deliver that. As I've said, they set the bar so high for themselves over the course of the series. I maintain 49 episodes, no filler. You need to watch every single episode all the way through the end in order to get the whole story. And it's a really good overarching story. But it ends the way it started. It started really, really cool, and it ends really, really cool. But when I think of finales, I think of the end of Kamen Rider Forze, or the end of Kamen Rider O's, or Double. You know, the less we say about the end of Kamen Rider Decade, the better. But I think of a crescendo of action and of emotion and whatnot. And we get a lot of emotion, and we get the stories tied up. And it succeeds on so many levels, but the places that we expect Kamen Rider to succeed in the end, in a finale, this one didn't really do. And that saddens me a little bit. The series as a whole, Kamen Rider Build is fantastic. Like I said, 49 episodes, no filler. That's an accomplishment. I was engaged from episode 1 to episode 49 all the way through. I love these characters. I love the fact that these characters are not all of these characters are going away quickly. I love the overall tone of the series. I love the storytelling. I love the way they do it basically in chapters. I love the design work and the effects, and the actors in this job have done in this show did a tremendous job. So, I've said repeatedly, this could be the best Heisei era Kamen Rider show of all time. For me, that's really high praise to put something up there like that, because Forze was outstanding. Double is usually my go-to. Gaim is incredible. So you have a lot of really good shows to compare it to. Is it truly the best Heisei Rider series ever? In my opinion, maybe not. But it's certainly in the discussion. It's Gaim and Forze and Double are up there. It would be part of my top 4 or 5, and depending on what show I just watched, Build might be number 1. But yes, the show really is that good overall. Just my final advice, if you watch the series, and I hope you've been watching it along with me, but if you decide based off of what you've seen and heard in my discussions and my reviews, the final word I would give you is, if you haven't watched this show yet, just go in knowing that you're going to get an incredibly good story with a beginning, a middle, and an end, characters that grow. Come to this show for the characters and for the story itself. If you're looking for that big, explosive, last 20-minute action set piece, you're going to get some really pretty visuals, but you're not going to get that, per se. Forze was a better finale. Gaim probably had a better finale. O's had a better finale. Double, I liked Double's finale a lot, but Double's finale wasn't high on the action scale either. So, definitely come, enjoy the show, watch it if you haven't already. This is a show I'm going to come back to in the future and rewatch again. I'm almost certain of it. Build deserves to be high up on that list. So, I know I'm not done with Kamen Rider, because Kamen Rider is I'll figure out how in the world you're supposed to say it, but right now I'm saying Z-O. I'm actually with a little space hyphen in there. It's not Z-O. It's not one word. So Kamen Rider Z-O. I've watched a bit of the first episode. I'm going to go back and rewatch it. As I'm recording this, episode 2 is out now. I'm really looking forward to Z-O, because another thing I love about the very last episode of Build, which is in this new world, is that we know that this is the world that Z-O is from, and we see that Build has one of the ride watches in the finale, in the very last episode. He actually has one. And I will say this, great end joke for the series. They even explain off the narration. They explain off why every show has bickering narration between the different characters. So, I dig that too. Watch the last episode to figure that out, because when I saw that, I was like, okay, that's it wasn't a bunch of fourth wall breaking BS after all. So it actually was really, really cool. So folks, thank you very much for joining me here for DenziNow and our look at Kamen Rider Build. Of course, we'd love for you to share, like, and subscribe this wherever you'd like to. I have no idea actually how long this episode is going, but I don't think this is going to be as long as a lot of our other DenziNow episodes. I'm actually trying to condense my reviews into a shorter form so that they don't get quite as long-winded. But yeah, definitely please share, like, and subscribe. Like us on all of our social media outlets. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Tumblr now. Haven't been able to keep them updated as much as I would like over the last couple of weeks. In case you haven't heard, I got a kid now, and so my little baby boy does take precedent over other things. But definitely, folks, keep watching, because more DenziNow is coming. Once we get 4 episodes of ZO out, I will start talking about that one here on DenziNow. So you're not going to go too long without some Kamen Rider content on DenziNow. And I'm still trying to find time to watch Lupin Ranger versus Pot Ranger. I haven't forgot about that one. I just got to find a way to make time to watch it. May actually watch it in bigger blocks to catch up, and then watch it as it comes out. So, anywho's, thank you so very much for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed the ride. Hope you love Kamen Rider Build. Let us know what you thought down in the comments below. And a reminder, when we hit 150 subscribers, I've said this on several videos, when we hit 150 subscribers, and we're close, we're over 140 something, I've got some stuff sitting over here that I need to get new homes for, because it's sitting here in my studio, and I'm kind of tired of it just sitting there. I want to give it away. I want to find homes for it. So we need 150 subscribers, and then we're going to set up another contest to give some of that stuff away. So folks, until next time, I'm Mike, and we'll see you around on DenziNow.